Hello and welcome to another Star Citizen Addicts Anonymous with Nikki Batgirl D'Angelo, your host. In today's show, I'm going to dig deep into Lumberyard, bring you a little bit of the information that I've found on Star Marine, and talk a little bit about my last state of the game and where I'm at with liking Star Citizen now. Isn't this a great scene? I think it is. This is Area 18, and it's in that little area where they said they were going to build it out, but just haven't yet. And now I'm starting to understand why a lot of the things I've been looking for just haven't been getting done. Before we go deeper into this video, though, I just want to thank each and every one of you for an amazing 2016, and thank you all for making me feel like a very important part of this community. I really appreciate it. So my videos have been coming out later and later and later. And one of the biggest reasons for that is school and work. And I know that that's kind of tough because many of you have always looked for my insight on the game and where it's going, especially because of my relationships with Ben and Sandy and other people at CIG. I can't say my relationships are any better than any of you would have with them. It's just that I have contact with them. And a lot of times, I don't get the answers that you would expect I get. I get little tidbits and little hints dropped at me, and that's about it. But over the years, I've been able to gather a lot of information. And in today's video, I'm going to start to put that together. But first, let's talk about this. About a week and a half ago, I did a state of the game. I was very critical on the development of the game. I wasn't critical like some of the other people would have been, but I was saying, I'm disappointed. I'm not looking forward to 2.6. I'm looking forward to 3.0. I don't like FPS. I don't need more ships. I just want the game to come out. And why are they going off in this tangent? Well, here it is, 10 days later, 12 days later, and I'm going to rescind that. 2.6 has been a major change for me in attitude on the game. And it starts here, Lumberyard. Now, I was picking on CIG because of where development was going. Now, you're going to look at Lumberyard and say, it's just CryEngine, but it's not. Amazon is taking this engine and has turned it into something that an MMO developer is going to be able to use to make their games, and not just make them, but actually be able to put rich, full, dynamic scenery into it, put believable characters that have believable motion and action, and then integrate Twitch into it. Yes, I said Twitch, and we'll get back to that in a minute. But the most important thing about Lumberyard is that it's going to bring us that netcode that didn't exist for CryEngine. All of the work that CIG was doing on the game up until now was trying to shoehorn their game into CryEngine. And that was tough because CryEngine is made for a first-person shooter. And it was missing a lot of the elements that they needed. The increased number of people that would be online was missing the 64-bit floating point data points. It was missing the ability to dynamically scale up and down for the number of people that were connected in a space environment. And Lumberyard is going to deliver that. And it's going to deliver that amazingly well. And it's going to deliver that on one of the best network infrastructures out there, AWS, Amazon Web Services. So this is a huge development in the Star Citizen world, because it means that now the development of the game itself is priority at CIG, and the development of the engine, which CIG has been doing, is the job of Amazon with Lumberyard. And oh my God, is this beautiful. Let's just look at a couple of scenes here. Now, I pulled this off of the Amazon's YouTube channel. This is an amazing piece. Now, what I want you to see is look at the different things that are going on in the scene. Yes, it's rendered, but it's rendered in engine. This isn't an animation, it's rendered in engine. Look at the facial detail, look at the facial expressions of this girl as she moves. The little lip quiver right there. Look at how the grass, the leaves, the falling pieces of leaves are moving in different directions, showing that the physics in this world is real, living, breathing. Now look at her motion. This is important because character development in the game is the number one thing that Chris is trying to get right. The other thing I want you to look at is look at this character. Is she believable? When do you start to look at her, look at how her hair moves, and go, this is just a real live human being? Yes, CIG's been showing us this, but they've been doing it by altering the engine and trying to make it work. Look at that. All of this is now provided to CIG as tools. And the total amount of work to move from where they were in CryEngine to this, minimal. I mean, this is based on CryEngine. So all the assets that they have are just plug and play right into this. The announcement of moving to Lumberyard is as important to me today as when they announced that Aaron Roberts was coming on the project. This means that CIG could switch gears and start just going full on in the game development side of it. And with Amazon being in charge of the engine, it means that a company that's not circling the toilet is going to be in charge of the most important piece of Star Citizen, which is the back end. And then there's Twitch. Yes, I said Twitch before. I said we get back to it. Twitch is extremely important, especially to CIG. Why do I say this? Well, in the beginning when I started talking to Sandy, she was really big about getting some kind of esports going. That never materialized because there was a lot of the game that needed to be developed that wasn't done enough to make a full, rich, engaging esports or Twitch experience. But Twitch streamers came on and did their own thing. Playing in the universe with blowing ships up, with moving people into ships, with having their own kind of races, with having their own kind of battles. And they generated a lot of viewers who moved from Twitch to Star Citizen. And as a Twitch streamer, occasionally, once in a blue moon, maybe once every other blue moon, I can tell you that the tools that they're going to be putting into the game for Twitch were going to have to be made by CIG. But in this case, they're integrated right into Lumberyard. And what that means is that a streamer could create custom overlays that just have pieces of the game in it. A mini-map, scoreboards, any kind of data that they want to deliver to their viewers can just be created by them and then overlaid over the game, and it's all part of the same. And even better than that, Twitch streamers. You're sitting there playing your game, and you decide, hey, let me get some of my viewers in here. You could pull viewers right out of your Twitch chat room, right into the game. That's the integration that Lumberyard allows, and that's exciting. I'm happy about Lumberyard. There's so much in it. Character models, the server-side elements, you saw the video in the beginning. Lumberyard excites me because now all that amazing talent can be used just to build the game. The talent that CIG has acquired can just be building the game and not worrying about the engine. I made it very easy to surmise that I'm very happy about CIG's move to Lumberyard. But I'm also quite happy with the changes in the flight dynamics in Arena Commander and the PU. Specifically with Arena Commander because it's where I have the most fun with my friends from the Enablers. Now, this is controversial because the flight system did slow the speeds of the ships down quite a bit. And it made using boost and afterburner much more important. And Now the ships drop replenishments of your weapons, your damage, so you could get Wait, there you go. I was waiting for that to happen. So you get repaired, refueled, and rearmed by picking up little boxes or floating icons that are in space. It makes it more of the game it's supposed to be. Remember, this isn't supposed to be real. This is supposed to be the game that the kids and adults play inside of the Star Citizen universe to make believe that they're pilots in the UEE Navy or whatever, right? So I've lost that feel of it being a World War II sim because those speeds of flying around and getting on someone's tail and taking them out and flying off really fast are gone. Not unless you learn how to use boost and afterburner very well. But you do have more of an opportunity to be on the tail of whatever ship you're chasing, and the battles are much more like they were in Wing Commander. Less twisty-turny, well, not always, sometimes, but more fun, more getting metal on the target. Now, in Pirate Swarm, that metal on the target thing is going to become very frustrating to some. If you don't bring heavy-duty weapons into Pirate Swarm, you're going to be cursing the ship in front of you as you pound it with round after round of your ballistic cannons or bolt after bolt of your laser and energy weapons. Nonetheless, the game has been made fun again, and I am having lots of fun with it. So much so that last night I had a 1.5 hour session, I guess it was, with Notable Joe and Pappy Boynton from the Enablers. And Notable Joe and I, Pappy, I'm so sorry that you crashed, were able to get to the end, Wave 18, a Pirate Swarm, and unlock our pirate skin of the Caterpillar, which is phenomenal. So I'm liking this very much. And I haven't tried out the new ships, though I know Notable Joe was in the Valiant, and he likes it very much. That's something that I'll probably do on my live stream at twitch.tv/Nikki65. FPS, which brings us back to Twitch, which brings us back to Lumberyard, which brings us back to I hate. I don't hate Twitch. I don't hate Lumberyard. I don't hate FPS. But I stink at FPS. I am horrible. And it's going to become apparent to anybody that plays with me that I have no idea what I'm doing. I can't even... I guess I did kill that guy, but I'm going to die very quickly. Nonetheless, I have found myself playing the FPS module a lot. Look at that. I don't even get my pipper on the target and I die. I play it a lot. Now, I don't play anything like Call of Duty or Battlefield, though I did play Star Wars Battlefront for a little bit because I like the game. I get frustrated with these games very quickly. I'm not sure if it's because my computer's slow, I'm not sure, or if I'm slow, which is more likely. But I like this type of game. I just don't like respawn shooters, because respawn shooters have this knack of having you just run into combat, shoot somebody, and if you die, you just respawn, you go. So there's really no reason to take cover and concealment into play. Though I do walk into some people's cover and concealment traps in this game. Nonetheless, I could tell you all the reasons why FPS sucks. I could tell you all the reasons why I hate FPS. And I keep playing FPS and Star Citizen regardless of how many times I die. Regardless of how many times I curse the screen. Regardless of how many times I cry because I just had been killed 50 million times like that for doing stupid things. FPS tends to be kind of fun here in the Star Citizen universe. It's not perfect. There are many bugs. My favorite bug is when you respawn and then your weapons work. Even if you reload them, they don't work. You die again and then they work. Another one of my favorite bugs has been I actually sat next to somebody, unloaded 2 magazines in him. He didn't die. He turned around, shot me, and I died. I am finding it very excitingly fun playing this game, regardless of how much that happens. I get 20 rounds on him and he takes advantage of me already being low on health and kills me. It's a fun game. I think Star Citizen, the inclusion of FPS in Star Citizen is going to bring over a whole new section of people that are going to play the game and have fun. And I'm happy about that because the more people that play the game, the better. And the more people that play the game that are better than me, the better. You can see that. I absolutely stink at this game, but I love it. So that's going to be my brief overview of FPS, because in the grand scheme of things, what I say doesn't matter because I'm not one of the better people at it, but I am having fun. The most fun I had was on the first night of the PTU when I was playing with Sophie Girl. But that girl just don't exist anymore. She's disappeared, and I haven't been able to have any fun with her since then. Nonetheless, I go into my FPS games on a semi-daily basis, maybe every other day. And I've been racking up some kills at times and racking up a lot of deaths at times. I think this one is one that I rack up a lot of deaths. I just walk into people's gunfire all the time like that. I get my weapon on him, he gets his weapon on me, and bang, I'm done. Oh, that was just not right. Why are you shooting my dead body? Corpses have feelings too. Lastly, I told you about ships. This is the Caterpillar, and it is an amazingly well done ship. I'm going to have a ship video out in a little bit, but everyone's done one, so what does what I say matter, right? Well, it matters to me because I like to get critical of the different ships and talk about the different systems, which don't matter until the game goes live. Nonetheless, there's my pirate skin. Reap the rewards of getting to level 18 in Pirate Swarm, people. You get to get a pirate skin, and it's a CCU right over to this version of the ship, and it's free if you own a Caterpillar, or, the same price as the Caterpillar if you want to buy it. Now, the Caterpillar is one of these big giant ships that came with the game, and it's got a lot of character. I mean, it has a lot of Drake character, like unrefined, rustic, broken, lots of things in different places that make no sense. Actually, they all make sense if you walk through the ship. Galley, entry area, racks, I guess they're gun racks. But there's the entry area for the crew. Lots of different panels that do nothing at this point. And of course, the engine room, which kind of looks like an engine room for a Navy or Merchant Marine ship. Pretty cool. I didn't know they would have diesel electric. I guess they're not diesel electric. Lots of different spaces in the ship. You can go up top right over here through this ladder. I like how the animation works. They spent a lot of time on this. So all the animations have been correctly modeled. More panels that do nothing. Rooms. Guess that's the power plant or the shield generator. More rooms with panels and things that you don't know what they do. Computer racks. Maybe they work with the Drake Herald. More doors and places to get totally confused about where you are. You can go down, you can go around, you can go up. If we go through that door, we wind up on the other side of the ship, which has this observation deck that I don't know what it's for yet. Might be for navigation. On the other side, you get into the crew compartment, which is actually a separate vessel that's attached or docked to the Caterpillar. Looking for the dock lines over there. Back, you have 4 crew members that are in this area, so you have 2 seats for them over here. And although this is very Drake-like, and I think that's great, so you have the pilot in the front and co-pilot in the back, I wish they did a 3-person cockpit, pilot, co-pilot, and captain, but I understand why. I mean, this is supposed to be more rustic and more, less refined, less detailed than something from RSI or Origin or Aegis. And it really pulls that off well. I like it. If we get into the pilot seat, it has that very Drake feel. Let's go to the back of the ship. Let's jump down. And I guess this is where the crew lives, right? They have a place to eat, place to sleep. It's a great ship. You know what? We've spent enough time on this ship. If you want to see it, I'll do a video at a later date. Now, the Caterpillar wasn't the only ship that came into 2.6. There is the I-85X from Origin, which is a runabout for the 890 jump. It's quite an interesting little vessel, just I don't like the paint job. There is the Herald, and then there were 4 variants. 2 of them I don't own. I don't own the Renegade, or I should say Avenger Renegade, and I don't own the Saber Comet yet. But thanks to Notable Joe, I do own the Valiant, which is the only one that actually changes the frame of this ship at all. You get extra missile racks with the Valiant, and that's based on the Gladius. The Wildfire, Comet, and Renegade are all just reskins and rearmaments of the actual vessels that they're representing. The Gladius is a different frame. More missile racks. So I find that if you're just looking to buy one, you can make the other 3 ships that you might own, a Saber, a Hornet, or a Avenger, into one of these variants, minus the skin, but you can't make a Gladius. So we come back over here to the Origin I-85X. I'm just going to spend a little bit of time on this because the detail of the ships is very important. It's what they're doing now is reworking a lot of the earlier ships to bring them up to par with the ships that have come out recently. This is the most recent ship, and you can see the bug that's bugging everybody. The radar dome, which is normally inside your helmet, actually being on the ship, and it's showing up on every ship. It's kind of ruining what the ships look like, but this ship itself is pretty awesome. I'm finding things here to be very, very, very beautiful, and the only thing I say about this ship is I hate the paint scheme. Love the ship. We'll be able to paint them our own colors at some point. Does that really just come out? I mean, that ladder comes right out from under my seat, I guess. It's kind of weird. The animations of entering the ships have been reworked, so they're more fluid. But this ship is pretty awesome. I'm going to skip over to the Herald because I want to end this video pretty quickly after this and just give you my thoughts on 2.6 in conclusion. The last and probably the most important ship that nobody will care about, no, actually most people would care about, is the Herald. The Herald is an information runner. It is the main reason communication gets from one end of the UE space to the other. There aren't big antennas that send communications from one area of the UEE space to the other because it would take light years to cross that distance. So heralds are used to jump through holes and carry information and then transport them or transmit them to ships on the other side of a star system that could then jump to the next one. It greatly increases the speed at which information travels, though it's not perfect. It's not instantaneous. Instead of light years getting information from one end of UE space to the other, it takes a month to 3 months at most because of ships like this. Think of the Pony Express. That's how the Herald works. It's kind of like a giant relay race. Herald also has a more nefarious mission, and that is information stealing. And that is something that you will be able to do in the game at some point, I take it. Now, I have taken this into Arena Commander, Vandal Swarm specifically, and if you deck this out with good weapons, it actually isn't so bad to use, but it's so big and it's such a huge target, you're going to get hit by everything. So you might want to increase your shields and power plant while you do that. But it's not a fighter. It is an important ship, the most important ship so far, in that it is how information is going to get from one end of the galaxy or one end of UE space to the other. I won't say that I love the ship, but I do love its mission, and I'm keeping mine, no matter how ugly this thing is. It still has character, though. Drake character, and I think that says a lot. If you could look at a ship and love it for all of its deficiencies and beauty, you must really love that ship. God, it's ugly. As we transition back here to my thinking spot in Area 18, I have to say that 2.6 is nothing that I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be insignificant. I thought it was going to be a cash grab for more ships. I thought it was going to be sidetracking the actual development of the more important 3.0. I thought that FPS was going to be a waste of my time. I thought that the Caterpillar was going to be before its time. I mean, there's just a lot of negative things I thought. So I took a week of the PTU. I took a week of the release of the alpha, and it's buggy. And I stand here before you saying, I'm happy. I now understand what was going on. I wish they told us in the beginning, but I guess they couldn't. Maybe there were NDAs that they had signed with Amazon about Lumberyard. Nonetheless, I'm pretty encouraged at this point. I'm feeling pretty confident at this point that CIG is back on track. And although we don't have Squadron 42, which probably has to go all through the updates to Lumberyard, although we don't have 3.0, 2.6 definitely came out and smacked me right upside the head and said, hey, this thing is good. And I'm having fun with it. And I guess that's all that matters. If you can have fun with an alpha that's not even a complete game, I guess that says a lot. And now it's time to say thank you one more time. Thank each and every one of you for the support that you gave me this year. Thank my patrons who, without you, I never would have gotten to CitizenCon. And hopefully with your help and the help of new patrons, I could get to CitizenCon in Frankfurt this year. I am at a point right now that I am going to be dedicating more time to this channel again. I've decided that I'm going to take at least one online course, which is going to free up a lot of time in my day to actually sit down and do my videos for y'all and for me. And one of the biggest reasons that I'm doing this is going right back to my last statement of the review. I'm very confident that this game is going to be kicking the high gear, and I want to be ready for y'all as each and every one of these updates starts to roll out from CIG. Remember to leave comments below. Remember that we do have a Discord channel for leaving questions for Ben and Ben's Day. We'll be having Brian Chambers on the show sometime in January, I hope, crossing my fingers. And I should be live streaming weekly starting in January. And I guess that brings us to the end of this really long video. I thank you all again. And if you can get out to patreon.com/Batgirl and help support the channel, I'd be very grateful. But remember, all I ever ask you to do is comment and like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. And with that said, folks, you all be safe out there, and I'll talk to you soon.